Coming up on the Rockbridge Report, Washington and Lee University has suspended another fraternity. Find out what consequences members of Phi Kappa Psi are facing.
Your commute to work might get a little smoother in the next coming months. Lexington City Manager has proposed a plan to improve roads downtown.
Good afternoon, it's Stuart Scott here on the Rockbridge Report. We've got an absolutely gorgeous day outside, 61 degrees, sun is shining, and just a few clouds in the sky. Stay tuned for your weekend weather forecast on the Rockbridge Report.
Construction of W&L's new student housing is underway, but university officials are still debating whether to use solar panels on the new buildings.
And later, Georgia Congressman John Lewis was honored at VMI yesterday. We'll tell you what he had to say.
Live from the campus of Washington and Lee University with news for Rockbridge County, this is the Rockbridge Report.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Rockbridge Report. I'm Alexandra Seymour.
And I'm Asher Lubin. 2 police officers were shot this morning during a protest in Ferguson, Missouri. Neither officer worked in the Ferguson Police Department. They were there as other jurisdictions helped the city to keep an eye on demonstrators. CNN's Andrew Spencer reports.
You can hear the gunfire scatter the crowd in this amateur video uploaded to Ustream.
Okay, there was just gunfire and now cops have guns drawn.
Witnesses say the demonstration outside the Ferguson Police Department was just winding down when it happened.
We were actually all about to leave, and as we were about to pack our cameras up, we hear what we thought were fireworks.
And all of a sudden I heard at least 4 to 5 shots ring out.
The gunfire struck 2 police officers, one of them in the shoulder, the other one in the face. Paramedics helped load one of the victims onto an ambulance to be taken to the hospital. The demonstrations had started as a celebration. Police Chief Thomas Jackson would resign. But the strained relationship between the community and the police department was evident early on. Someone had used sidewalk chalk to write, among other things, "Pigs, kill yourself," on the asphalt outside the police department. Before the gunfire, tensions had even boiled over amongst the crowd, a scuffle between demonstrators. Officers also surged forward at times, taking at least 2 people into custody. Several officials have resigned or been fired after a Department of Justice report found systemic racism in the police department and in the municipal court system in Ferguson. Many in the community worry the changes, notably that of the police chief, may not be enough.
We need to deal with the culture issue here to make sure that whoever is coming in behind Chief Jackson is just not a new face and a new name on the same type of issues.
I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
Phi Kappa Psi fraternity has been suspended from Washington and Lee University for the next 3 years. President Ken Ruscio announced in an email yesterday that a Phi Psi member used a taser on one new member and to intimidate other new members. No one was seriously injured. The university received an anonymous online hazing report on March 6 about the incident. Public Safety launched an investigation and reported its findings to the Interfraternity Council. The IFC held a hearing on Tuesday night and voted to suspend the chapter.
A Virginia Tech senior from Richmond died after falling overboard on a cruise ship. CNN's Parker Slaybaugh has the story.
My heart goes out to them and my prayers to them. I mean, they cannot replace this loss.
Cameron Smook, the Virginia Tech senior on spring break, departed from Miami on Saturday aboard the cruise ship Carnival Glory. Sunday morning, cruise line officials were notified that the 21-year-old had accidentally fallen overboard and was missing at sea. After extensive search and rescue efforts, the Coast Guard suspended their efforts pending further developments. Today, Cameron's neighbors in Glen Ellen got the news.
All of us know each other, and I've seen the kids literally grow up in front of my eyes here. As a mother, I feel for her.
Shivani Aptia went to Deep Run High School in Henrico County with Cameron.
And I think it just hits me because I know that we're both the same age, we're both in college.
Calling him quiet but helpful.
He always seemed to be helping his family in any way that he could.
It's very shocking. It's a loss for us.
Cameron's family releasing a statement saying, in part, "Our family sincerely appreciates your continued prayers and support at this most difficult time."
Rockbridge County is no stranger to domestic violence. One local organization is expanding to help more victims. CC Smith reports.
The Rockbridge County Sheriff's Office responded to over 130 calls about domestic violence reports last year.
We come in and we're like knights in shining armor, and sometimes you get in there and the person who's been victimized or bullied for so long is finally able to vent and feel safe about it. And then you never know really what happens after you've made the arrest and you've gone to court.
Sheriff's Office investigator Miles Kelly says he informs victims of local resources and services like Project Horizon. Project Horizon started an expansion of their emergency victims shelter, Lisa's House, 2 weeks ago.
We've been planning the expansion for about 7 or 8 years. We've just sort of been sitting on the plans till we felt like the time was right in the economy. We have several more things that we want our program to do, places we want to grow, and we needed more space to do it.
Project Horizon Executive Director Judy Castile says the expansion adds a child advocacy center, a training room, a play therapy room for children, a male apartment area, and more living space for residents in Lisa's house.
It doesn't add capacity as far as bed capacity, but it does add it adds an opportunity for our programs to grow.
The renovations, which include adding another story to the building, will be completed in October. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm CC Smith.
Lisa's House serves almost 300 victims every year. The renovation project is funded by artist Cy Twombly, who donated $200,000 to the foundation.
Lexington citizens may be in for some improvements to streets, sidewalks, and more. Kinsey Grant tells us about the proposed plans.
City leaders in Lexington are poised to implement a nearly $500,000 capital improvement plan to meet the city's growing needs.
There is everything from some engineering studies to look at and prioritize or help us prioritize our infrastructure needs. There are sidewalk improvements, road improvements, parking garage improvements to the courthouse deck.
The capital improvement plan contains nearly $500,000 worth of updates and construction projects for the 2016 fiscal year. Among these projects, fixing potholes on Lexington streets.
After the snow over the last couple of weeks, we've got some potholes that we need to fix too.
Lexington citizens are looking forward to seeing the necessary changes.
I think the roads and sidewalks and different infrastructure around the city definitely could be improved. I think things are in good shape, but there's definitely a need to keep things more up to date and keep roads improved and fixed and cleaned and all of those things.
One of the most important projects in this year's plan is determining the most dire infrastructure needs.
We're spending a little bit of money in the next fiscal year to develop these long-term engineering plans that will help us identify where the worst areas are and kind of rank them.
The city will bring an engineering consultant to Lexington to complete the plans. City leaders agree that improving infrastructure is a main concern.
You know, one of my priorities, and I think one of council's priorities, is to really get our hands around and tackle the infrastructure problem.
Infrastructure projects will only be in the researching and planning phases during the first year of the capital improvement plan. Leaders hope to start construction soon after that. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Kinsey Grant.
Community members are invited to a public hearing on the capital improvement plan scheduled for March 19th.
Up next, we'll have your local weather forecast.
WNL already gets some of its electricity from the sun, but there's a plan to triple the amount of solar power on campus. We'll explain the issue coming up.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary.
Hi, Smokey.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 68. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs.
He's on his way. He doesn't even know that we're here. Is he okay? Please tell me he's okay.
Laura.
Okay, try to call him again.
There's no signal.
Try.
Nothing's working.
Well, just
Everything's down.
This is so bad. He's out there by himself.
Make sure you know where to find your family in an emergency. Start your plan at ready.gov.
What a difference a week can make. After a cold and snowy February and early March, we finally get a hint of spring. Stuart Scott joins us to tell us how long this will last.
Thanks, Asher, and unfortunately we can't get too excited about this nice weather we're having. We're not quite out of the woods yet, but again, absolutely gorgeous conditions today. As you can see, we've got a high of 63, low of 32, and humidity of 52%, and fortunately no chance of precipitation for at least the rest of today. Let's take a look at our current conditions. As you can see here at our studios in Lexington, absolutely gorgeous. 60 degrees out right now with just a few scattered clouds. So again, enjoy that weather while you can. It will not be continuing into this weekend. Let's see how the rest of the region's doing. Now, as you can see here, we've got good temperatures across the board. Sunny weather as well. We've got a high in Buena Vista of 66 degrees, and up the road in Stanton, we've got a low of 58. But again, those high temperatures and sunny weather are going to make it a great day for Southwest Virginia. Let's take a look at our satellite image. As you can see, we're going to have a wave of cold and moisture coming in, and that's going to hit us tomorrow, bringing with it precipitation and a drop in temperature. So let's take a look at our 5-day forecast and see how that plays out. Now, as you can see here, we're going to have temperatures between 38 and 48 degrees with rain beginning tomorrow. That rain will continue into Saturday and temperatures will rise, could reach almost 70 degrees, some of the highest that we've seen here in months. So that's something to be happy about. The sun will be back out Sunday through Tuesday with just a few clouds in the sky, and temperatures will be relatively nice, reaching into the low 60s. Thanks, Asher. That's your weekend weather forecast. Back to you.
Thanks for the update, Stu. Washington and Lee is quickly running out of time to increase the number of solar panels on its campus. Leslie Yavak tells us more.
The Board of Trustees postponed approval at its last meeting for additional solar panels near the new third-year housing development. The project would increase alternative energy output for the university from 3 to 9.5%. Professor Kimberly Cowgill is the Director of Sustainability Initiatives and Education at the university. She said the benefit of solar panels relies on the university's patience.
It's often a difference between making a very difficult short-term decision for a very long-term benefit.
The university initially projected an upfront cost of roughly $4 million for the panels, but a university spokeswoman said this number is expected to go down. She said the panels would save the university more than $377,000 over a 20-year period. But Jim Farrer, secretary to the university, said the board requested even more detailed finance information before it could make a decision. Some members questioned the long-term benefit of the project.
And is it really going to provide, the sort of energy that is promised?
Rachel Samuels, president of the Student Environmental Action League on campus, said the answer is yes. Solar panels create energy without burning fossil fuels, which contribute to global warming and climate change.
We wouldn't have to pay another cent towards fossil fuels.
Members of the Board of Trustees were contacted but would not comment on their discussion. Sam Krickenberger, Director of Community Development for Rockbridge County, said despite the conflict at the university, the county has approved the project. But he said this scale of solar facilities is a new arena for the county.
It's kind of funny because everybody supports green energy,
But a solar array, a large solar array in a rural area is a little inconsistent with the values that people are associated with that area.
Samuel said she hopes the university realizes how solar panels would stop its emission of harmful fossil fuels from growing.
I think it's really important to show that we are, according to our mission statement, like a 21st century campus. You know, we care about the issues that are plaguing us today.
For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Leslie Yavak.
If approved, this project would be the largest solar panel array at any private institution in the state of Virginia. But construction on the new housing development has already begun, and solar panels cannot be included in this development unless they are approved at the May Board of Trustees meeting.
Students at Sweetbriar College are scrambling to transfer to other colleges, and faculty and staff are looking for new jobs since the Virginia Women's College announced March 3rd that it will close this summer. The college's board blamed the closing on insurmountable financial challenges. The board began considering closure 18 months ago, but the students, faculty, and alumni did not know it was a possibility until the announcement that day. Alumni refused to accept the news without a fight and have begun raising money to save the school. The school was founded in 1901, and the last graduating class will walk this spring. When we return, we'll tell you how pipes in Rockbridge County have been faring in the freezing temperatures.
And later, civil rights activist John Lewis accepts an award at VMI.
Hi, may I please have an application? Thank you.
Skip the drama. Get your GED.
Okay.
Take that first step towards a better future and sign up for free classes now at yourged.org.
If you store your guns properly, I'll feel safer when I'm playing outside.
Safer when walking home.
I won't have to tell so many family members. I'm sorry.
I won't hear as many scary stories.
And I won't have to tell my kids. This isn't a drill.
Please.
Please, do it for us.
Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always, lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
No more pencils, no more books, no more teachers, dirty looks.
School's out for summer.
What this place needed was better graduation rates. So we worked with schools like Henry Ford High, and now they're up 18%.
To help us do more good this year, go to unitedway.org, because great things happen when we live united.
If you want to be a parent, it doesn't matter how you play, what you wear, how you dance, or even what direction life takes you. You just need to be there. You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care don't need perfection. They just need you.
A broken pipe at the Rockbridge Regional Library in Lexington damaged 21 books in late February. But the library is not the only place suffering from broken pipes due to the recent cold weather. Area plumber Stanley Dudley says he has responded to an abnormally high number of calls, while Lexington Public Works Director Mike Kennedy says the city has responded to shut off water to frozen supply lines at 15 properties during the winter months. Kennedy says that's rare. The city is also replacing existing water meters with new water meters that will notify Public Works in case of a leak. Fire officials are investigating a fire that broke out at Fitzgerald's lumber yard Tuesday morning. The Effinger, Lexington, Fairfield, Rafine, and Buena Vista fire units worked together to extinguish the flames. Operations Manager C.S. Fitzgerald described where the fire broke out.
At this time, we're not sure exactly what started the fire. It looks like it started in the filing room, and it's kind of contained in the filing room, except for a little bit of fire got on the roof a little bit, but it doesn't look too bad right now.
No injuries in that fire. Route 11 was blocked off in the area of the fire. However, Fairfield Elementary School was not evacuated, despite being across the street from the fire.
Hillary Clinton breaks her silence on the use of a personal email account while she was Secretary of State. Clinton's turning over all documents that could be viewed as connected to her work. But she won't make her private documents public. CNN's Brianna Keeler has the story.
Over the revelation she used her personal email for all official business while Secretary of State.
I opted for convenience to use my personal email account, which was allowed by the State Department, because I thought it would be easier to carry just one device.
Adding that in retrospect, using official email would have been smarter.
Looking back, it would have been better if I'd simply used a second email account and carried a second phone.
Following a long-planned speech to the United Nations on Gender Equality Tuesday, Clinton assured reporters the email server she used was safe.
The system we used was set up for President Clinton's office, and it had numerous safeguards. It was on property guarded by the Secret Service, and there were no security breaches. I did not email any classified material to anyone on my email. There is no classified material.
As the State Department announced Clinton's emails would be posted on a public website after a several-month review, Clinton said her email system had not broken any rules.
I fully complied with every rule that I was governed by.
And said there should be no doubt any work-related emails might have been missed.
My direction to conduct the thorough investigation was to err on the side of providing anything that could be possibly viewed as work-related.
A Rafine truck stop is in the midst of an expansion that will include more than just fuel pumps and food. White's Travel Center is adding a pharmacy, which it says will make it the first truck stop in the nation to have its own drugstore. White's expansion should be complete by the end of 2015. When we come back, we'll have your latest on local sports.
And after that, an engineer turned artist shares his inspiration from the famous Salvador Dali.
Jimmy can't sing, and Tommy can't dance, so we're gonna put some ants in their pants. Aww.
Kids will spend 22 minutes watching us, the super duper party troopers, sing about ants in their pants.
Isn't that funny? Ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants, they've got ants in their pants.
Brushing for 2 minutes now can save your child from severe tooth pain later. 2 minutes, twice a day. They have the time. Everybody has a dream. Mine was to see the ocean. And with a little help, I made it.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Every budget, so don't accept defeat. Now you can get covered and still buy me treats.
You take care of your pets. Now it's their turn to take care of you. Visit getcoveredamerica.org to learn about your health insurance options.
Welcome back. Now let's take a look at our local sports teams with Emery Cox. How are things shaping up, Emery?
Well, thanks, Alexandra. It looks like WNL's lacrosse teams are making strides. The men are celebrating yesterday's 15-5 victory against Mary Washington. Both the men's and women's teams have gone have home games this weekend. The women take on St. Mary's at 2:00 p.m. on Saturday, and the men play Randolph College at 3 p.m. The WNL men's tennis team saw a 6-match winning streak come to an end with a 7-2 loss to Swarthmore on Monday. The men play at Randolph-Macon this afternoon. The women will play at Mary Washington on Saturday at 11 a.m. VMI's basketball team defeated JMU yesterday 7-3 at a non-conference game in Harrisonburg. The men play again tomorrow at home against Central Connecticut State at 1:00 p.m. The Cadets water polo team will be making its first splash of the season tomorrow in a 6-game swing through California. Their first match will be at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time against Fresno Pacific at the home pool of Cal Baptist. Southern Virginia University's women's lacrosse team will go head-to-head tonight against Columbia College at home. Men's lacrosse doesn't play until Saturday at 1 p.m. at home against Mary Washington. Now that the snow has melted, Rockbridge County High School sports are back in full swing. The boys' baseball team has its first exhibition game today against Amherst County High School. Both the boys' and girls' tennis teams have their first scrimmage today against Heritage High School. The Perry McClure's girls' softball team has a scrimmage on Saturday at Fort Defiance High School at 10 a.m., and the boys' tennis team has its first match next Monday at Riverheads High School. And the girls kick off their season on Wednesday at the Lexington Golf and Country Club. That's all for your local sports. Now, back to you, Alexandra.
Thanks for the update, Emery. Sounds like we're in for some exciting seasons. Georgia Congressman and civil rights activist John Lewis visited VMI yesterday. Lewis received VMI's Jonathan M. Daniels Humanitarian Award for his commitment to social justice. The award is presented in honor of Daniels, valedictorian of the VMI class of 1961, who was killed while saving the life of African-American teenager Ruby Sales in Alabama in 1965. Lewis's visit comes just days after ceremoniously reenacting the 1965 March on Selma, Alabama.
The blood of Jonathan Daniel, the blood of others, helped bring us to where we are today. Helped redeem the soul of America. And we must never, ever forget the contribution that these martyrs made to making our country better. And when people said to me today, 2015, 50 years later, that nothing has changed, I said, come and walk in my shoes.
This year marks the 50th anniversary of Daniel's death. Right here in Lexington, people can see Louis Marcoya's art on display. Marcoya is the former studio assistant of the world-famous surrealist painter Salvador Dali. Combining his love of math, technology, and painting, Marcoya's work marks for a unique viewing experience. Culture reporter Megan Latella visited the exhibit.
Louis Marcoya has worked as an engineer in the semiconductor industry for over 35 years. He has found a way to combine his professional work in engineering with his passion for art. Salvador Dali has always been a big inspiration for him.
I met Dali in 1970 after 2 years earlier I had seen for the first time in my life a Salvador Dali book in an actual Hallmark card store, I think it was. But I looked through it and had never seen anything like that, and it was really intriguing to me. I had no idea what was going on in that art.
The style of art that Marcoya saw in the book was surrealism, for which Dali is famous. Elliot King, an art history professor at WNL, explains the concept of surrealism.
Really, surrealism in all its guises, whether it's talking about Salvador Dali or Rene Magritte or Max Ernst or any of these artists, it's always about trying to get to the subconscious, and that's really what defines surrealism as a movement.
After his initial exposure to Dali, Marcoya began reading more about the artist. During his research, he learned that Dali spent his winters living in the St. Regis Hotel in New York City. Marcoya decided to give Dali a call at his hotel.
And after several tries, one Sunday, he picked up the phone and said, sure, come tonight, 6 o'clock, St. Regis.
When Marcoya arrived, he recalled that a large crowd of New York City socialites and art fanatics were all vying for Dali's attention in the Regis's cocktail lounge. Intimidated, Marcoya said that he went home. That summer, he would teach himself to paint, and he planned to revisit Dali with some experience under his belt.
He went through the photographs I brought, and he critiqued all of them and said that Dali does this better than that, and Dali does this better than that. But at the end, to my surprise, he just folded up the pictures and said, we will do some collaborations. What I do to make my images now is they all, like this, start on a computer. And this huge architecture is actually a three-dimensional fractal.
While Dali is one of the most famous surrealists, Marcoya professes not to be a surrealist. Instead, he says what resonates with Dali's style for him is his use of technology combined with painting, because Dali was also very interested in mathematics, as is Marcoya. You can view Marcoya's display in Lenfest Center in the Stanier Gallery at Washington and Lee University, Monday through Friday from 9 to 5. For the Rockbridge Report, I'm Megan Latella.
That's all for this edition of the Rockbridge Report. For more information, check out rockbridgereport.washingtonandlee.net.
Thanks for tuning in and have a great evening.